Oh my gosh. Hold on. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fix
perfect.
my hair, cover the bald spots. That's what
Yeah,
I do.
kind of.
Comb this down, comb this up. Just
It's balding.
get
Uh,
some hairspray. Just make sure no one can tell I'm losing my hair.
yeah, I could tell. Wake up every morning, cry myself to sleep, then wake up again, go to work. See,
Invest
so,
in more hats.
yeah, I gotta get some more hats around here. I'm gonna be an ugly bald guy. uh, oh man, where's Ike? Come on, Ike.
At least you're accepting it with dignity. I'm gonna go in crying, begging.
Yeah, well,
No.
I had a lot of years of good hair, so like, and I used it to my advantage, you know. So I just think like if I have good hair and a nice smile, I can get by. So I really got to work on both of those things now. You know, I got to
Now,
put some.
now I gotta develop a fucking personality.
Yeah. I used to be able to get away on just my feathered hair, but now that's not happening.
I don't know.
I don't know where Ike is, but we're live right now. You know, this
I
is like the
noticed.
pre-show.
Yeah, I noticed.
It's been a interesting time this week. Been playing a lot of Clash of Clans. Have you played that at all?
No. I think I downloaded it to my iPad, then I was like, I don't give a shit, and then immediately deleted it.
It's kind of my new obsession for like 2 weeks, and then I'll be over it. But I gave the developers of that game like $5.
Why?
Is that
I don't know what it is about me, but I'm like actively against giving money to free-to-play games. I'm like, fuck you, you're free. I won't give you a dime,
Isn't
even though I
that
love
weird?
the game. It's
But that
been thousands
yeah,
of hours playing.
exactly. So like I already like okay, if I would have gave them $5 later, I wouldn't have gotten as much payoff for the $5 because it's more helpful for beginning of the game, you know, getting going and stuff. Maybe not though, I don't know. But I just felt like okay, if I'm gonna give them the money, I'll give it to them early, and I'm just gonna I understand what the game's about. I'm gonna have fun with it. Okay, fine. I have my $5. I'll get $5 of enjoyment out of it. But that's like okay. This is like the only free to play game I've ever given money to, at least in a really long time. I
Besides
give
all those other ones you've given money to.
like Pirates of the Caribbean online.
And what was it, Planet Side 2?
Well,
And
PlanetSide, that's a different thing though.
no, it's the same
No.
thing.
It's not no, because I think like Clash of Clans is like one of those like poop games. So like it's a shit game. You go,
You're
you
right.
take a
You're
shit,
right.
and you play the game.
I don't begrudge it. I mean, fucking, I'm just like stingy as fuck with this
Yeah,
shit.
no shit, dude. Like you're telling me that Clash of Clans and PlanetSide are like the same amount of like
Bro,
like
they're free to play. They're the same thing. I don't care if you live on the iPad and one requires a heavy gaming machine. Same fucking game. I don't give a shit, bro.
yeah. I think I gave PlanetSide like $60 or so.
Yeah.
I probably got $60 worth of enjoyment. Still better than going to the movies.
Yeah. I
That
mean,
sucked.
I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's just something about free to play that does that to me. Because it's like the opposite with other games. Like I bought Battlefield 4, and then I spent the extra $50 on Battlefield 4 Premium so I can get the fucking expansions. And then I played World of Warcraft for fucking ever, and then given them so much extra money on top of that with just realm transfers and I turned one of my Draenei Death Knight into a troll Death Knight, the race transfer thing, like the faction transfer. So like I've wasted so much money, and I was already actively paying for those games. So
That's just nuts. That like so because you're already paying for the game, you're like, I will gladly pay more.
yeah,
But you know, if it's free to play, you're like, fuck you. This is free to play. I can do whatever I want. I'm gonna.
I got that like today because Sniper Elite version 2 is free on Steam. If you download it now, you can keep it forever. I don't know if you uninstall it, you might not get to keep it, but it's free. Like you can just fucking download, and I did, and then I was playing it, and immediately when you open the game, they're like, "Hey, buy some DLC or maybe pre-order Sniper Elite 3." I'm like, no, and then I played the game a little bit, and then I was like, okay, that's that's enough for now. I close the game. And they're like, hey, by the way, you don't want to do that? I'm like, no, fuck you, uninstall. I don't care if I can't play this game for free anymore. That minor inconvenience, it's not worth my time.
But it's just, I think when you say free to play, it just comes like a mindset takes over, right? Like it's you're expecting cheap.
I shouldn't. Yeah.
But that's totally been flipped on its head. We know that. But the thing is, like a game like Clash of Clans, right? It's basically
I understand that there is a difference because I haven't played Clash of Clans, but I played a bit of Simpsons Tapped Out, and I have a friend who's like fucking obsessed with Simpsons Tapped Out.
Speaking of your friends.
Yeah, and he's paid a lot of money into it to unlock things, and fucking I would never, like, I can't imagine. I just got a text message from unknown address. The text message reads, "Message not found." So that's fucking amazing.
Well, that means you're going to hell. No. I texted you and Eric 3 hours ago saying I couldn't make it. I just got that text message from Ike.
Oh.
Well, I guess we should start the show now. Hello, internets.
I'm Eric.
I'm Joe.
And we kind of already did the show. I was like, we're kind of blowing our load.
We'll figure it out. Don't worry. You could like post in a different hello internets for some other day.
That doesn't matter.
Okay, so like, but Clash of Clans, the thing that bothers me about giving these guys $5 is it's totally a pay-to-win game, right?
Oh yeah, that's all of that shit.
It's totally pay to win. And so there's a part of me that's like, why am I giving this money? But the other part of me is like, I am getting gaming enjoyment out of this. I haven't been able to sit down in front of my computer and play, and it's kind of like, it's been a cool release. I've been killing people. I'm in a clan called the D Club. It's really fun. And like, I'm enjoying myself. I didn't think I would enjoy myself so much. And I fought it for a long time. But people around me were playing it and saying, get into it, get into it, get into it. It's a fun game, but it's pay to win, right? And the problem with it being pay to win, and me having not enough time to play, like a real game, but income that I can use to win. Like, it's really hard for me to sit here and say, okay, I'm gonna give him $5 because I like the game. It gives me a little bit of a boost. But then, like, what about, that's gonna happen like a week later or something like that, or 2 weeks later. It's like, why not just give him 20, or why not just like. I can totally see the model, right?
If you're just given $5 every couple of weeks, you don't think of it, but it adds up. And my problem is not exactly with the practice of free-to-play, because I've played a number of them, and they're fun. I don't, just because I'm too cheap to pay for things like that. I don't know, just something about like the substance. When I'm paying like $60 for a game, I get a full game, but the idea like I'm paying you $5 for this game I already had, like whatever. But for me, it's not just the practice. It's the way it's dealt. If you look at like I think we talked about this like at GDC this year, so many of the conferences were how to optimize your game for optimal whale retention. And whales, they mean people who pay a lot of money for free to play games. It's
like Ike, who spent $700 or something on Hearthstone.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just this thing now. I mean, not all companies are the same. I haven't played Clash of Clans, so I can't speak to it. But, I mean, the way Hearthstone does it, Loadout does it my favorite of all, because you literally cannot spend money to get better at the game. It's only cosmetic things.
Clash of Clans does it the complete wrong way, and that's why I'm kind of like, I can't believe I'm giving these guys money. I can't believe I'm giving these guys money.
Yeah,
there's $4.99. And I know they're doing it the wrong way, and I acknowledge that
wrong. It's not wrong. It's their right to do it. I'll tell you who's doing it the wrong way. EA. Because EA released Plants vs. Zombies 2, which they added some free-to-play elements into the whole series with Plants vs. Zombies 1 and stuff. But then, like a couple of weeks after Plants vs. Zombies 2 came out, what they did was they took one of the things of Plants vs. Zombies is you have like one extra chance to defend your lane. Like you have a lawnmower, and if a zombie gets there, the lawnmower comes and great, one extra chance to so you don't immediately fuck up. And then when you start the next level, you have your lawnmowers again. Well, they decided a couple weeks after the game was released to make an update then now the lawnmowers don't respawn after each level. You actually have to pay with their whatever premium currency and stuff. So you basically have to buy this thing. They took away a feature of the game and then made it a free-to-play element. And they do this shit all the time. Like the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, their tower defense third-person shooter that looks kind of cool. That's on like the Xbox One. When it was released, people was like, it takes so long to unlock things. And then like 2 weeks later, they're like, we heard what you said about unlocking stuff. So we've added free-to-play elements so you can get this stuff faster. And then like Kotaku was like, thank you! Thank you, EA! Splat, free-to-play elements.
Kotaku is an EA or a AOL property now, so you get it. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. She's coming in. She's filling up a coffee cup. Let's get her on screen.
No.
My beautiful girlfriend, Sarah. Thank you, babe. This is
Not
the poison. I'm gonna drink it. Somebody that pretty would never kill me. And I get Game of Thrones on air. So
she would make sure someone else was holding the cup.
Yeah. Why would I?
What did you say?
Okay, so free to play. I have to get back on track. I'm so distracted by this random act of coffee. Where was I going with this? Oh, but I think there is a right and a wrong way to do it, like you're saying. And Clash of Clans is totally doing it the wrong way. When you start playing the game, there's like three different resources. There's goo. It's like Monster Inc. or whatever the fuck game we were playing. What is it called? Backyard Monsters, right? There's coins, there's goo, and then there's mushrooms or gems or whatever the fucks. And so they don't tell you what the gems are for. They're just like, those are the gems. You get have this many of them. And then like you spend a couple, and you're like, well, how do I get gems? You know? And like, oh, okay, I remove these things, and that's how I get gems. And you're like, if you're not paying attention or you haven't played a game like this before, you're going to run yourself out of gems, speeding everything up, and then you're going to be like, well, now I can't play. So like it doesn't really like fully explain what the resources are. It lets you run out of resources, and then the game's like, I guess you got to give me $5. Idiot.
That's how like with who's it? Simpsons Tapped Out. It's like oh, build this. It'll take about 3 hours or 2 donuts. You can spend 2 donuts, which is the premium currency.
Right.
Just how they shit, like fucking EA again with Dungeon Keeper Mobile. Their new
wow,
Dungeon
yeah.
Keeper. It's like, hey, you have to dig a tunnel. Click this block. Okay, that block will take 8 hours for your minions to destroy. Or you can pay us money. You know.
And they're just sitting there, yeah. But like, okay, so for me, like, it depends. I am fully aware that the developers at Clash of Clans, it's a business. I don't have a problem with them making money, and it doesn't really rub me the wrong way the way they're doing it. I do wish they would have explained the gems and stuff better, but I understand what I'm getting into, and I think other people, if they don't understand, then whatever, they're idiots. But I think like there's right ways to do it and wrong ways to do it. But when you feel like you've been shafted as a customer, the game developer's doing it wrong. Well, and I've never given a game money that I felt shafted, right? Like why? Like you have to do it in such a way that your customer's feeling like, oh, like I as a gamer, it's like I feel like I'm getting enough of a return out of this where I'm going to give you my money. You know, like I
agree. It's an interesting sort of balance, like how to do it.
Even if it's pay to win, right? And I think pay to win is shitty. But I'm playing a pay-to-win game right now.
Well, it's this whole thing now where it's a gold rush on this shit. You come up with a pay-to-win game, and you will just make money hand over fist. Literally, I think Candy Crush made more money last year than Nintendo did. But again, those games don't last. There's a reason why the fucking, we all remember the people who did Farmville, they fucking collapsed into nothing. There's no long-term...
Well, they sold themselves to Facebook for like $1 billion.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no long-term gain with these things. They're just gold rushes. You go in there and you try and mine out as much money as you can while people are willing to pay, and then once that dries up, you move on. It's just how this shit works.
That's why Farmville developer Zynga I don't think they got bought by Facebook, but they have Farmville 2, they have Ninja Kingdom, they have
And
Chefville,
and those games are
Coasterville.
and those games are losing money hand over fist because they're not because it's people passed on to Farmville and they moved on to Candy Crush and Clash of Clans and other games. Like Angry Birds was a big thing, and that wasn't even a pay to win kind of deal. That's still
Right.
kind of going. That's still kind of kicking around because it's because they didn't. I mean, there is pay to win stuff issue in it, but not like it's not one of those games, so it kind of sticks around. But these pay to win games, they just kind of they pop up, try and grab as much money as they can until they can't anymore, and they're like, "We're the new Nintendo!" And then 2 years later, that's what like fucking the people at Zynga were
Fuck
like.
you, Miyamoto! Woo,
Yeah, it's
woo!
like fuck you, Miyamoto. Fuck you, EA, Xbox. We'll live forever. And now
This
they're all
party's never
unemployed.
gonna end.
Yeah.
More cocaine. Yeah.
Would you like a hooker made out of cocaine? Because we've
Yes!
got all the money.
Woo! This money will never end.
Yeah.
No, I think Zynga so even those cash grabs that you're talking about, that's like one of the things to the Clash of Clans games that I've noticed is there's actually like a decent community around it. I just started Googling and stuff today of like more advanced strategies with building your base out and defending and attacking. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it
what?
seems like I mean I haven't looked too much into Clash of Clans, but it
Well, me
seems like
either.
Like it seems a lot like Backyard Monsters, which
It
I
is.
enjoyed, which was free to play. They didn't have any pay to win elements yet, but I think they've added that. So, but it also kind of reminds me of I used to be really into this. There was this text game on the internet called Utopia. Me and my friends were in like junior high school. It might still be going around. It was this like fantasy game. It was all text. And they would have like a season of like 3 or 4 months where you'd like pick your race and your kingdom, you try and develop resources, and then like attack people and you build up your army and stuff. It was all text based. There was no like interface or something. But it was
called a mud, right?
I don't think it was called a mud because it wasn't like because it was just like all stats and stuff it was I don't know how you would describe it, but we were so into it in like junior high and then the beginning of high school, and it was supported by ad revenues before free to play stuff. But I enjoyed that because it was fun building up, getting in alliances with people and then fighting other people, and it was fun. So that kind of stuff is interesting.
So and that's exactly what Clash of Clans is kind of fulfilling. I really would like to play Civilization. I really would like to be playing Age of Empires right now, but
it's still going.
Can't.
It's utopia-game.com. I think this is.
I just saw this. It is a mud. It's MUD.
I guess it's considered a mod. Yeah, it's really, and there's like super interesting strategies. Like it's like, oh, if you're going halflings, you got to go with it. Like I went with halflings because halflings were great at like stealing, so I didn't have to attack people and worry. I could just send my halfling thieves in there. But then like there's different. Like if you're the undead, then you never have to build food because they don't eat. But then
That's
like
great.
the avians, like they're bird people, so they can fly further and stuff like that. There's just little strategies. Like you got to build this many. Like your first week, you got to have this many things and stuff like that. There's a lot of strategy, and it was fun.
But so would you have given him money? Because back then that was like 2002, 2003 time frame, right?
Oh no, this was like it was like 98, 99 because I graduated in 03.
Oh.
Yeah, this was like early days.
So like that was definitely like pop-up ads and stuff. Like you went to a web page and
yeah, it was definitely a web page and there were banner ads and stuff like that that supported.
So that's how they supported it. And now I feel like if you're doing a free-to-play game, you can pick one, right? You get the banner ads, or you get the pay to win, right? Like I when there's both of them, I feel like it's kind of like too much.
Oh, yeah, if it's a
right?
Pay-to-win game with banner ads, fuck that game.
Yeah, I'm like probably not gonna play you for very long or at all. Like if it's pay-to-win and banner ads, like no. But if they have banner ads and they're like, you can go premium and get no banner ads, I'm like, okay, maybe. Or if it's just, hey, we're gonna exploit you for your mind money. We're gonna give us $5, or this is gonna take forever. Okay, I'm okay with that. Just don't give me banner ads. So those are so annoying when they play. The way they place them is so, I guess. What's a word for evil but not truly evil? Mischievous? No. I don't know. It's pretty
Dickish?
fucking evil the way they play some of these things. What is
Yeah.
it?
Dickish? I don't know.
Dickish, yeah. Dishonest, I guess. It's like they make the X so little. It's like, I know you're gonna get a click through because my stupid fat thumb is not gonna be able to click that stupid X.
I was looking at Utopia, and let's see. I'm already premium items for sale. Oh God! Don't tell me they went free to play on it. 50% off Kingdom Hostility Meter. Oh, 75% off taunts. Oh, you're not telling me that they went free to play with this?
They did. It's a free to win. Free to win game.
Well, no. So far, I haven't looked too much at what's for sale because there's no like item thing. I imagine I have to get in. But so far, the 3 things that are on sale is Kingdom Hostility Meter, taunts and stuff. Basically, like if you attack a lot of people, you kind of stand out as like a very hostile, and you can like pay to get less. But I don't know. It's like if this is real world money stuff because it says 30 CR per week, so it might be in-game money. I don't know. I haven't played. I can't tell you. If this
maybe
is
it's like you donate X amount of dollars and you get so many credits in game and you can spend them however you want.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're just saying like the in-game credits that are always there. I don't know. I can't tell. I'd have to like start up and look at it.
So I went this last week. Where did I go? I went to downtown Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because there was a race going on, the Detroit Grand Prix IndyCar races and a bunch of other races. And I tried to kind of sneak my way into the races. Didn't really work out, so I ended up going to a antique store. Right? There's this place called Eastern Market, and they're selling a bunch of clothing and vegetables and food trucks and stuff. It's kind of nice, but there's this antique store there, right? And I was just standing on the outside, people watching. And Sarah's in there with her friend, having a good time. I'm just like, fucking antique store. I'm just gonna keep watching the people walking by while I'm drinking my smoothie, because I don't fucking care about antiques. It's just more shit to add to the house, right? I don't want to go in the store. I'll go in there sometimes because sometimes there's some cool toasters or typewriters. I'll look at them and be like, that's cool, and then I'll walk away. So anyway, Sarah calls me on the phone. She's like, "Oh, come up here. There's some cool toasters and typewriters for you to look at." All right, all right, I'll go look at the toasters and typewriters. I guess so. Go upstairs, and this guy comes up to me because there's like a novelty mug there. This mug has like a naked woman on the front of it, and like the back of the naked woman on the back. And so you get the front, you see her boobs. The back, you see her ass, and it's the silhouette of a woman. Maybe it's even a mermaid. I don't know. And I looked at it. I'm like, that's kind of funny. And he takes out this other mug that's shaped like a boob, just a straight boob, and you pour the milk out of a nipple.
Mm-hmm.
So, both of these things were priced at $15 each. There's no way I'm gonna pay for these items, right? Until the guy's like, "Do you want to pay for these items?" And I was like, these would be excellent gifts to give to Sarah's dad. That's pretty great. Yes, I will buy your tit mug and novelty thing. So, but I made sure to haggle. I haggled on a price for them. It's so I got them both for $10 each, which was a steal when you see these things. But so I feel like that was kind of like punishment for bringing me into the store. I felt bad for after I was like, "That's what you get. You bring me into an antique store."
Force me to go to an antique store. I'm gonna come home with some ceramic tits.
Ceramic tit mug. There you go. And I'm gonna give it to your dad as a gift. So there.
Yeah, that's the best way, from what I know from comedians and stuff about relationships. If it's like if your girlfriend's like, take out the trash, and you do it horribly, she'll never ask you to do it again.
No, okay, so it wasn't supposed to be punishment. All right, that's kind of harsh phrasing. But I don't recommend getting love or relationship advice from comedians, because a lot of them seem like their life is really,
I don't know. I think Mark Maron has it figured out.
I listened to a radio show with Mark Maron on it, and he was talking about how he maybe talks about his life a little too much on his show and gets into trouble about it. especially with his dad and his girlfriend and stuff. But I know every time I mention Sarah and she's in the house, as soon as I come downstairs after the show, she's just like, "Why are you talking about me? What did you say?" I'm like, "Oh, don't worry, babe. I only talked about the tit mug." And that's like the most embarrassing thing that happened to her. She's like, "Don't talk about that kind of stuff." But what are you gonna do? You live and you learn.
I don't know, but in a desperate attempt to maintain my youth, I do have a skateboard now.
Wait, why did you get a skateboard? You're gonna hurt yourself. You're like 30 years old.
No, I'm 29 tomorrow. It's not exactly it was our downstairs neighbor who was horrible, who was evicted several times over and fought it desperately despite eventually just leaving. Left most of their crap, including the skateboard, which I could see from like looking down and like just sitting there. I was like, oh, I want that skateboard. I hope she doesn't take it so I can have that skateboard. And then I asked my mom, I was like, God, I wish I could take that skateboard. And she was like, well, I'll ask Amber, our manager, if nobody wants. I guess nobody else wanted it, or somebody else had already called dibs but then didn't want it. So now I got a skateboard. I originally wanted it for like filming purposes. I thought it would make a nice, like, cheap dolly. But now I have like a slider for my camera that I also just bought for $100, so I don't exactly need a skateboard. But I feel like I'm not 30 yet, so I deserve a skateboard, you know. So it's okay. I'm technically still 20-something for the next 366 days.
So are you doing anything special for your birthday?
No, I'm going to probably eat too much pizza and pie tomorrow. My friends are taking me to see A Million Ways to Die in the West, apparently.
But cool. That sounds like that looks like a cool thing to see.
Yeah, but they don't know it's my birthday. At least I don't think they do. Because I made sure it's not even on Facebook anymore. That it just doesn't say when my birthday is anymore. I made sure it's like it says I was born in 1985, but only I can see what day.
You don't want people to say like happy birthday?
I just don't care. I just don't care about like getting everyone saying happy birthday, hey, happy birthday, man, like all over my Facebook. I don't care.
It's funny, like I look at like who says, like the last time I talked to this person was last year, and it was happy birthday, and you could like see the friendship. In fact, I bet you if I open up your profile right now, Eric, all right, Eric, there you are, and I click see friendship. Let's see our illustrious friendship together. I'm gonna share the screen. Hold on, screen share. Where are we at? Oh, cool! Oh, that's nice. So we have. I have all this personal information on the side. Sorry, everyone. All right. So anyway, I shouldn't have done that. This is a cool picture right here, right?
What?
It has us together here, but it's animated.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Okay. But so here's a bunch of things.
See friendship thing? Is that a thing? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So you can see friendship here, and you can see all the stuff like the friends we have in common. This is a bunch of me sharing your stuff. Oh yeah, a bunch of me.
It's just you linking me a bunch of times.
It's just like, hey, Eric's doing this. Look at Eric. Eric and Ike, just cool enough. This is one of our listeners. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. No. This seems like a pretty one-sided friend.
You see fat photo of me from behind.
Oh, there you are, fat Eric. Further. Yeah. Oh, there's fat me. I still have.
You can see even fatter me sitting there, like I'm more like you can see my dumb fat neck and stuff.
Well, why would anybody look at this? This is awful. Anyway, where's your dumb fat neck?
Scroll up. You missed it. That photo of BlizzCon.
No, we're talking about it. Oh, just never mind. Oh, this is awful.
Oh no, he said it.
I'm still sharing my screen. How embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't have anything against it. It feels like late. Like there's no. I don't care about my birthday that much, and I don't think. It's nice or whatever, but it's not like it's that much effort. It's just I can show you right now, like. Possible listener, as certainly someone who listened at some point to one of our various podcasters, Julia has a birthday today. So, yeah, I can just see it. Just says that. It just says whoever's birthday is today or coming up. Yeah, it's her birthday today. I know.
We should do birthday shout-outs. Happy birthday, Nick Molnar and Brian Thomas. Also,
Yeah, but they're not listeners.
Yeah, I know. But maybe this guy is. Fran Marco, you share a birthday with Eric Reichert, our friend and our local Duncor.
He's not friends with me.
I hate that guy.
Yeah, so fuck that guy. And then, I'm sorry, Julia's not friends with you, just me and Ike. She's not a friend of you.
I don't blame her. You know, I'm kind of weird.
No.
Things happen.
She probably is a WoW radio listener. I don't know. I think I recognize her from years ago, but I don't know if she actually listens to this bullshit. But she should. She should. It's awesome.
You should talk to her.
Yeah, be like,
try
just
promoting
like, hey,
why don't you...
happy birthday, and stuff. But what the fuck? Seriously? Why aren't you listening to our podcast?
So,
fucking shouted out you.
I know. We give a bunch of shout-outs to people who don't listen. Meanwhile, our normal listeners are just like...
Did I go to high school with you? No, Julia. Seriously. Yeah, I thought we knew each other better than this, and then you got to pull a dick move like this. God.
I saw friendship, and I saw that you said happy birthday to me last year. We're friends.
You pulled a real Julia. That's what we call it now.
Well, you know who I pulled a Julia today, right? I totally I had a interesting.
We don't have much. Oh, she likes Just Cool Enough, but we've never posted on each other's wall. So.
Who is this lady? Mystery lady? Mystery listener?
She seems like a pretty lady.
What did you do?
Married. So married. That's your mind. Ugh.
Oh God, that's the breaks. Maybe the husband listens to the show.
Edit this shit out.
The husband listens to the thing like, "Don't you talk about my wife Just Cool Enough. I'll have you drawn and quartered." He's a villain.
I know where you live. At your parents' house.
Oh my gosh, man! So I went and I went to a air show, not an air show. I went to an airstrip, right? And there was a B-25 bomber. It was pretty awesome, but standing next to it, I was like, "Hey, can I get in it?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, sure, you can get in." I climb up the ladder, and I'm looking, and I'm like, "God, this is fucking amazing!" Like these 17, 18, 19-year-old dudes, boys, climbing into this thing, fucking flying across the ocean and dropping bombs on people, like this little tube in the air that, like.
Yeah, it's made out of canvas and wood and fucking or not. I mean, I guess they're.
That B-25 was made out of metal.
Yeah, these are metal, but they're very thin metal. Like they're not. They're not meant to take a hit. Like they're just tiny nothingness.
Right, and I'm looking where the tail gunner he just sits on his belly and gets shot in the head because that's the only thing that's.
Are these the ones with the ball turret? Because those are that's the fucking worst. No,
you ever watch the Memphis Bells? Worst thing ever. No,
there's no ball turret on these. Thank God. I would fucking hate to be. That's the worst one. It's like, hey, why don't you go in this tiny glass cylinder to which the only way you can exit is being in a precise place, and if at any point the landing gear doesn't work, you get crushed to death.
Yeah, we have to land on you. Yeah. Which, Memphis Belle. The B-25. Yeah, that happened. It really happened. It's fucking. But so I almost had kind of I wouldn't say panic attack, but I was overwhelmed with crazy emotion, just trying to put myself in the place where these guys were. And it kind of blew my mind. And I went out to the front and I was asking questions about the plane because the plane's cool and everything. And the front window has this window wiper on it, pointing down so you can see where you're dropping bombs, where you're calling back to the bombardier and be like, "Drop the bomb now, Tom!" Bombardier. Drop the bomb. Say, we're using the Norton bombing targeting device. So there's a hole next to it, on the front of this plane. And I'm like, "What's that hole for?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, once the window wiper stops working, the pilot just sticks his hand out the window and then just wipes down so you can still see out of the thing." I'm like, "Oh wow, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's really good."
Don't worry, the cabin's not pressurized, so it's freezing cold, and you have to have your own oxygen. And also, because you're an American, we bomb during daylight. So and you have to survive 30 missions in order to go home.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so that's what I was thinking about while I was in this like historical warbird, and I just couldn't even believe it because there was a time in my life where I was like thinking, you know,
I mean,
now that I'm basically 30, like Eric,
give or take.
give or take a few years, um, like could you imagine being younger and less prepared than that?
Well, that's why.
Like today's generation, we're fucking pussies.
No,
Like
that's. I mean, that's specifically why we send teenagers to war, because they don't think they're going to die. That's the difference. Like, by the time you're about our age, you start to realize, like, oh, things might be able to kill me. But that age, you think you're invincible. That's why we send them instead of us, because they don't think that. So when there's like, hey, soldier, take this unarmored Humvee down this road where there's always an explosion. Sure, nothing bad will happen to me.
oh god.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. Like thinking like you'd be like a 19-year-old kid in one of those setting fire to a German town full of civilians for no reason.
Yeah, like just going over Nuremberg and fucking bombing the hell out of the place and
just burning Dresden, the city of Dresden, to the ground with mostly just women and children, just to show Adolf Hitler, you can. Which is kind of our that was one of the fucked up. Like people don't talk about it as much. We're like, yeah, we nuked Japan twice, but we also burned down so many villages in Japan and Germany because we thought that it would demoralize the troops. We didn't go after the troops. We went after their families because we hoped that they would go, hey, why are we fighting this war when our parents and our children and our wives were set on fire?
Well, okay, so like. It was so weird the way it was then too, because there would be like we did shitty things, Allies and British and U.S. people, like the U-boats, right? German U-boats, fucking water superiority. They took over the whole fucking British Navy and just blew the shit out of everything, fucked everything up for the Allies.
No, I mean, U-boats made it to American shorelines and blew up shit in America.
Yeah. So there was this thing. It's called, like, Don't Be a Dick in the War Act or something. And it's like a gentleman's agreement that, like, okay, if it's a Red Cross boat, U-boats, don't blow it up. There are a bunch of women, children, civilian, or whatever, you're not allowed to blow it up. You could capture it, but you can't blow it up. So like, the Allies, right? Like, German guys, they pull up their U-boat and they're like, hello, we are capturing the boat. And then like our guys are like, just kidding, like start shooting at the U-boat.
So there are no rules in war. Yeah, we pretend there's rules when war's over, but then when it starts, we do whatever the fuck we want.
Right, exactly, right. So like, so then we fuck that up because then the U-boats kill civilian boat, and they're like, well, we don't want to fucking open our hatch because our only tactical advantage is just blowing your shit up, and you fucked it up before. And so it's just and you're 20 years old or less, making these decisions. God damn, our generation is full of fucking pussies. That's what I went up in that B-25 and I'm like, yep, I haven't lived, and I don't want to live the way these guys did. And I slid down and I'm like, man, I got it so fucking easy. I'm never gonna complain about anything.
Well, some of that is also just like not only do the young fight in wars, but the poor do, because the poor don't know any better, because they don't have any other option. That's why there's no draft in America, but we certainly have a backdoor draft with
it's a social draft.
Yeah, it's like, hey, there's no other. Hey, you in this shitty backwoods middle of America state that has nothing. You live in a trailer park. Well, join the fucking Marines, because it's that or start cooking meth. Those are your two options.
Well, yeah, and once you are a military family, you get
shit on. You get shit on and nothing. You go to war, you get your leg blown off, then the VA never gives you any money or help for your PTSD or missing leg. And if you do get captured by the Taliban and spend 5 years in the Taliban's hand, then the Republicans start a smear campaign against you because they don't like Obama, so they're going to call you a terrorist.
Because your dad has a beard.
Yeah, your dad has a beard now, so why did we bring him home? He wasn't even worth it. Was he even really a good soldier? I mean, maybe he wanted to be caught.
Yeah, so that whole
Let's
issue...
support the troops. I
It's
mean,
just it's
support them in your heart, not with any financial or emotional stability, but just be like, I support them.
yeah. Send the people in harm's way,
Don't
but
give them body armor or the equipment they need or
yeah.
medical treatment or
But put the fucking sticker on your car.
Yeah, but I got the sticker on my car. We did it.
Yep.
Support the troops, 2014.
That's just as bad as liking something.
Yeah, I liked it. I like support the troops on Facebook. I still vote for the people who say that we should cut all benefits to VAs and not give college to the people who join the military, even though we promise them we'll pay for their college. But I like support the troops on Facebook, so I did my part.
Yeah, and it's the families that are very disconnected from this that don't understand it. You know, like the people that might just like know a guy that's in the army and or any of the armed forces. This is very American centric, but like the families that
it's also the funniest content we've ever covered.
This is awful.
Speaking of this shit, let's read some goddamn emails.
Do we have any emails?
We have one email. And I'm glad I get to read it.
Why didn't we talk about that? Why didn't we talk about the? Let's go into
the socio-economical politics of war and the recruitment of soldiers in this modern age.
The indoctrination of young Americans throughout America since the 1950s and beyond. Okay, the email starts.
The email comes from a long-time listener, Brady, who says, Dear JCE, Ike, your puns are terrible. Please stop. Please. Eric, your improve is terrible. Please stop. Please. Joe, keep up the great work. I don't know if he means improv. I don't know if he's seen me do improv. I haven't done improv in 6 months. So, but maybe he just means my general improvement of my attitude and social standings with other human beings is terrible, and I should stop. I'm assuming, I'm getting out more. I shower almost every day.
The show has gotten substantially less funny since you've been going and doing things.
I know, it's ridiculous. I
have to. That's a problem.
Yeah, so I should stop. He continues. Any new technology you guys are wanting? I just ordered a Surface Pro 3 to replace my Surface Pro 1. Best computer out there for school, if you ask me. All my love, Brady. Any new technologies that you're interested in?
Well, Google just announced a driverless car, and did you see any pictures of that?
I saw something. I've seen the prototype one, and then their one that doesn't have any steering wheels or stuff like that.
Hold on, let's get a picture. The Google driverless car is. Oh, well, they don't have any. Okay, so anyway, it's kind of like the cutest thing ever as far as a vehicle's concerned.
Yeah, it looks like a smart car, but it has no steering wheel or pedals or anything. It does all of the driving. There's no option for you to drive, which is interesting.
Right.
I think
not even a steering wheel on this new driverless one.
I've said that 3 times.
I think there's not a steering wheel.
Oh, no, I didn't. Is there not a steering wheel on it?
It's not a steering wheel.
It's an interesting thing. I don't know how to change. I like the idea of a driverless car because I don't drive much at all. I haven't driven in 10 years, and I'm beholden to other people for rides. So it'd be cool to have a driverless car where I could get into a car and drive. Yeah, they got this artist rendition of what it might look like in the future. If I could just do that, if I could just pull out my phone, get in my car, tell it to go somewhere, and then when I was got to wherever I went, especially in Los Angeles, to be okay, go find your own fucking parking, and then let it go wherever it needs to go to find parking and not have to worry about that. And then when I'm done seeing whatever comedy show, just text my car, ready for a pickup, and then it'll come around the corner and come get me.
So you're totally buying into the fact that what about iRobot scenario though? The car doesn't listen to you, your manual override doesn't work. Am I a crazy nutcase for worrying about that stuff?
Oh, maybe, but it depends on how. I mean, artificial technology is nowhere close. We don't really. What we have is nothing. Is not even artificial intelligence.
Well, that's even what's worse. I mean, you can get into a weird loop where Maybe the car is always making a right-hand turn forever until it runs out of battery or something. But so the thing that I kind of, in case you didn't know, I'm a car enthusiast, right? And this is a really interesting technology because I think for the people that don't enjoy driving, if it was going to happen, perfect for me. The people that don't enjoy driving, good. You can get your stupid driverless car and enjoy yourself and fucking have your thumb up your ass while you're flying down the highway and playing, Farmville 6. Okay, great. But, and I think for, like, the driving enthusiast, there are times where driving's just a pain in the ass,
Yeah,
even if you enjoy driving, sometimes you're not always carving up a canyon or finding a twisty road to just destroy or, drive over 15 miles an hour or something. Like, there's so many things that are enjoyable about driving, but there's a lot of bad parts about it too. So
I get that.
I'm excited for more people.
One of the interesting things about this, as I've read before, part of the problem with driverless cars is not the computer you're making a wrong turn and driving into traffic and getting you killed. It's other drivers, which the computer can't predict how just erratic people are, especially in fucking Los Angeles. I mean, Los Angeles is not nearly as bad as places like Sacramento, San Francisco. I don't know why it gets as bad as a rap for drivers, but it's still like people will just people will go, like, if someone's going too slow, they will drive down the wrong side of the street to get around them. Like, people have done crazy things, especially and they can't predict that kind of stuff. So there's this weird thing, like, driverless cars might not be possible as long as people are still actively driving. Like,
I think that it's all gonna change. It's going to be 20 years or so before we're actually fully autonomous vehicles running around. But right now, like, super luxury vehicles right now are already can, brake for you, accelerate for you from a dead stop, and even, make small adjustments on the road for you to go, like, right or left.
I mean, even non-luxury cars, like mid-range cars, now have, like, the self-parallel parking stuff. So
yeah, you can get that on a Ford Focus.
Yeah. So the kind of stuff is coming more and more. So.
But the thing is, it's like when you take that wheel away and get rid of the human override thing, I think that's when it kind of gets weird. Like, everybody has this dream, like, I'm going to go to the club and I'm going to get fucked up and then Google's going to take me home. But that's probably not going to happen because...
Well, there's the duality of that, is if you are going out and getting drunk and then taking a driverless car home, if it has a steering wheel and pedals and you're sitting in the driver's seat, are you not, in fact, like, can you not be held accountable for what happens? Like, how you prove that you were not in control of the car?
Like, I did not kill that man!
Yeah. I did not murder him!
No, you did. You did do that. We have video footage of it.
I did not murder him!
and then Will Smith has to kill his dog.
Yeah, well, because Will Smith has his arm is part car now, because he lost his arm in a driverless car accident. So now he hates all driverless cars, even though he's part driverless car now.
And then Jazzy Jeff shows up, and then they talk to Uncle Phil about.
Man, driverless cars don't understand. I'm just trying to get the oldest reference possible I could out of this, and I did. I'm pretty sure I did. Good. Thank you.
Very good. Well,
so
that's kind of the new technology.
Cars.
I'm looking towards
You're looking for that. I'm looking forward to blowjob tubes. Just everywhere there's just a tube. Yeah. So moving on.
What?
No.
Wait, those exist though.
No, right? No, I don't think so. Not yet. That's the thing. And he said any technology, that or time travel. So
I think the blowjob tube is more important.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Also more attainable.
Why limit yourself to just driverless cars, where just tubes where you can receive a blowjob? Just on every street corner, in every house. That's my platform.
I think you would get elected. There would be a large portion of the population that support that.
I mean, not this presidential election, but the next one I could be eligible, because all you have to be is 32 years old. to be president. That's and a naturalized American citizen. And then by the next cycle, I'll be that. Not 2016, but after that. Actually, would I be in 2016? No, still wouldn't be. But
watch out, Hillary! Here comes Eric.
2020, I could be running against Hillary on a platform of installing blowjob tubes in every house in America.
Well, what did the girls get then?
I mean, actually, there's kind of a joke we did, and I wrote this sketch once. It was like they're like this distant future where everything was ruined and we had to stop the robots, and like part of the joke at the end is like, well, not the fellatio droids, right? It's like, no, of course not. We're not going to go there. And then when the girls is like, well, how come we can't have cunnilingus bots? And the guys are like, oh, fucking gross, like, you know, just being like incensed by that, like somehow that's disgusting, but they're just like keep the fellatio droids, those are great, but cunnilingus bots, that is gross. That is gross. Children could be watching this. So anyway, this robot was sucking my dick.
Oh yeah, that your dystopian future sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah. Sure robots have taken over, but you know.
I'm just as long as we have some sort of good robot on our side, I think we're gonna be okay.
Yeah. Like
RoboCop. I don't have really a segue for this, but the RoboCop statue is in Detroit. The RoboCop movie was released to deaf ears, and RoboCop threw out the first pitch at a Tigers game.
No, RoboCop didn't. Crazy new RoboCop that's not really RoboCop did. I saw I was like, oh, that's awesome, and I looked, and it's the new RoboCop throwing out the pitch.
Black,
I was like, oh, fuck you.
Black painted one.
Yeah, it would have been better. Like the fucking I watched the movie.
Yeah.
I watched the movie. The first part of the movie,
I didn't even hear it. I didn't even see that movie. I didn't even know it came out. I'm like, when is that RoboCop movie coming out? It already came out.
Yeah, I think it's out on DVD now. But
it came out on deaf
in the beginning of the movie, he's the right color. Like he's the gray. It looks kind of like RoboCop, maybe a little futuristic. It's interesting. He looks. I mean, the movie is just stupid. It's not. It doesn't do anything. Like it does nothing. Everything that it attempts to do, either the original movie did it way better in terms of just social satire, or it just muddles and barely does. Like it tries to do this whole like drone program thing, like where America like uses unmanned drones to blow up children and women and children in hospitals and to get one terrorist and yay America, it's making us safe and all, but it barely covers it. It's like the first 10 minutes, and then it never talks. Like it doesn't say anything about anything, which is the first one.
It's like our conversation earlier.
Well, the first one was such a great social commentary about, like, they have, like, Sam Jackson trying to be, like, the Bill O'Reilly character, but he's not as big as Bill O'Reilly, and he's not as big as the way they entertain, like, in the original RoboCop, the way they did fucking entertainment news was so fucking on the nose and ahead of its time, and commercialism and stuff. It's just so amazing, and it's just they didn't do anything good. Like they did less, which is the worst part about any remake.
That's been like the last 3 or 4 years. I feel like every film has just been less. And maybe it's just the blockbusters that have been coming out just have not been nearly as entertaining.
They're safer. Everything's just safer because everything costs too much money to make, so they compartmentalize it, and they get committees and stuff like that, and they screen test every inch of it along the way to make sure nothing's offensive to anybody, so it'll make the most optimum amount of money, and then it falls on its ass because it's
directing by committee.
Yeah. It's just all kind of garbage these days.
That's kind of why I'm really worried about Star Wars.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
I don't know. JJ's kind of got... I mean, I think he's an imposter to the throne. I think he wants to be Steven Spielberg so bad, and he's good at being like Steven Spielberg, but he'll never be like that good. But he's okay. He's an okay film director. I've liked some of his films quite a lot. And so I think the fact that the leaked pictures from the Star Wars set are an actual set in the desert with actual props and actual people in costumes and even some puppets, that got my hopes up. It's not just a giant... It's not all shot in George Lucas's backyard.
In George Lucas's weird
basement, it was funny. We watched...
Coruscant basement.
Over Memorial Day, I watched with a couple of friends. We watched the I guess it was called the fan recut of the prequel, where they cut the entire 3 movies into like 2.5 hours. Basically, they cut out all of the first movie except for the Darth Maul fight, and then cut it, and it didn't make any fucking sense with all the cuts they made, and it was still kind of boring. But we just made fun of it the entire time, and I just kept doing my George Lucas impression, and I'm like, this is actually a part of my original vision, which is just my Kermit the Frog impression. And then we made up this whole thing with like Anakin is like. Obi-Wan's like his stepdad. He's like, God, Ben, you're not my real dad. Ben won't let me. I'm gonna start a thrash metal band now, Ben. God, I'm gonna wear all black.
I always thought,
Palpatine's cool. Palpatine lets me sip his beer sometimes.
I always thought, like, when I saw the original one, I was like, maybe Ben Kenobi is his dad. You know, like they did such a good job of making my little 8-year-old brain think that.
Yeah.
Could have been something.
Actually, but it was funny. We heard about this amazing theory that this guy talked about that the main people that Chewbacca and R2-D2 basically start the rebellion, because if you look at it, they're in like R2-D2's in the whole thing,
right?
And he meets Chewbacca in the third one, who's a fucking general, and then the next time we see him, he's this like scummy guy living with Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon, and they just happen to come across Leia and helping all this stuff. So it's like this secret theory that like really like R2-D2 and Chewbacca like are the masterminds behind, like, and they meet up with, because you notice like there's a scene in the third prequel where him and Yoda are having a conversation, but you never hear what they're about to say, and then Yoda disappears forever. So it's like this whole thing where like Chewie and R2 set up the whole fucking foundation for the movies. I mean, it's probably all. It's definitely horseshit because George Lucas didn't put that much thought into it. But it's an awesome theory.
Yeah, well, just the way things were cut in the movies and stuff, it totally can look like that.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the originals in a while. I really need to
because if you look at it. At the end of the third one, they wipe C-3PO's memory, but not R2's. They're like, wipe his memory, but not his. So R2 remembers everything that happened.
Which is just total like he still can communicate. Why wouldn't he just put stuff into like he needs to do a memoir, R2 memoir. Boop, 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 boop. Just saying all the dirt about like everybody. Think of like he
the
probably.
Funniest part is like there's a scene in like I think it's the third one where they go back to Tatooine and like Uncle Owen and Aunt Peru, the young versions, have C-3PO with them and you just have this, but then like and then it's like, I have no need for a protocol droid, bitch. You had one 25 years ago, and it's that same one. You don't remember your goddamn protocol droid?
Yeah, like that's like having a car. You bought a car 25 years ago when it was like kind of new, right? And then like the fucking jalopy beater comes back and you're like, fuck, I need a pickup again? All right, I'll buy this one. You don't know it's the same fucking pickup you had? Like, oh, look, the scratches, they're in the same spots, you know? Like,
well, it's like, no, it's worse than that. It's like you had a pickup truck 25 years ago and it really helped you out, and then you sold it for no reason. And then 25 years later, it's like, hey, want to buy this pickup? It's like, I have no need for a pickup. And it's like, you had one before. Yeah. It's like, you had a protocol droid 25 years ago. His name was C-3PO. He looked exactly like this one. I'm pretty sure it's the same fucking droid that you had.
Maybe he got hit in that. It's all that moisture up in his brain. It was fucked up his head. He's got all that moisture farming. You know that shit will kill you. It's a carcinogen. In Uncle Owen's defense, I mean, it was a really tough time for him. His father had lost a leg and died shortly after, and his stepmother was kidnapped and raped by sand people. So it's. But what about the sand people? All those sand people got murdered. What about sand people's rights?
Yeah, and but I cut them down like animals because that's what they were. God.
I killed them all. They raped your mom.
I don't know. And if we played it the other day. It's like no, they found her like that. Like her husband like beat her. Like he
Right.
bought her as a slave and then freed her to become his wife. And the same people
yes.
rescued her. And you notice how she died immediately when he unties her. That's because that was the only way to keep it. Like she had so much internal bleeding. That was the only thing to keep it like being like this was keeping her alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to heal her, but then fucking
It was like
he
the
breaks it up.
signs, like, we got her pinned up like that because if we move her, she'll die. All of her insides will fall right out.
Yeah, her insides will literally leak out of her asshole if you untie her. But all he heard was because he doesn't speak Sand Raider.
Right. If he spoke Sand Raider, maybe if Anakin was just a fucking little bit cultured, he would understand.
Yeah.
God damn it.
But no.
No. Maybe if he had a protocol droid
Yeah.
that spoke all those different languages.
Yeah. Maybe if he brought C-3PO with him, he would have. His mom would be alive. He wouldn't be dark. He wouldn't have strangled his baby mama to death. You know, just
all those younglings.
Yeah.
All the younglings. Think of the younglings.
It's just the worst. Speaking of the worst, let's stop talking about all this horse shit and start plugging each other.
Woo!
Yeah. My plug for this week is a YouTube channel called Biking Into the World. There's this guy, Harrison Brown, who's he does a lot of stuff with the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. He's also in television production and stuff. He seems like a nice guy. Never met him, but I've seen some of his shows he does. He raised a bunch of money on Kickstarter to do this thing on YouTube called Biking Into the World, where he is riding his bike from Fairbanks, Alaska to Key West, Florida. He raised all the money and he started releasing episodes. He's on the second episode now, and it's just over the course of the next year he's going to be riding his bike literally across America from Alaska straight to Key West, Florida. It's a fucking long way. I think it's 6,000 miles.
Really long way to ride your bike.
Yeah, but he's doing it. It's really interesting, so far. So I would suggest you maybe start checking that out because it's a pretty cool watch.
My plug for this week is the website that I created on Squarespace. Thank you, Squarespace.
Click that buy a drive button.
Yeah, buy a drive.
Click that button.
All
see
right.
what that is.
Let's
That's
see
the
what
real
this-
magic. That's the real magic.
Magic right here. Thank you, Eric, for making these icons for me. We actually need to make a few more. But I was going to plug fasttrackexotics.com, where you can drive a supercar, like a Lamborghini, a Porsche, or a Ferrari. You can call it 855-937-6260, and you too can be in the cusps of speed. That wasn't even a read. So go check out fasttrackexotics.com. It's an ad and a plug at the same time because Eric actually helped me build this site out, and he made these graphics right here. You can get the Ultimate Teen.
Yeah, Ultimate Teen. That was my favorite one. You're like, this one's just called Ultimate Teen. I was like, that's a weird thing to label a file, but okay.
So yeah, fasttrackexotics.com. If you're in the Midwest, it's pretty much the only place you could rent and drive a supercar around a racetrack. It's pretty great. So anyway, that's my plug. Also, obviously, I got to plug Shout Engine. That's been taking off like crazy. We've gotten so many people like on Shout Engine making podcasts. Even Garnet on Games is just killing it. He is doing so good. Number one in gaming.
It upsets me because we used to be like the biggest thing on there because nobody was there, but now all these people are there and we're just no one fucking knows about us anymore.
Yeah,
we squandered it. We squandered it again. Another opportunity squandered.
Wasted. I've came full realization that this show is always going to be this show, and I love it. So I'm actually really happy.
If this show were more popular, we'd have to censor ourselves or like.
Right? Yeah.
The fact that nobody listens to us lets us do this horse shit. We'd actually have to try and do segments again, and
we had really high hopes, but fuck that. How about we just
then
have
reality crashed in on us.
Man, it's hard to have high hopes. But no,
Yeah.
seriously, start your own podcast in 5 minutes at Shout Engine. My plugs are both ads.
Yeah. Mine was for an uplifting thing about a guy touring the country that I live in and love, and showing it from a side I haven't seen it from. And yours was like, buy
now.
consume.
What if, yeah.
Hey.
One of us. Well, I wasn't, it could be worse. My eyes could be punctured and my teeth could be gone and I could be dead. because of a 7-foot tall person.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the end of the show, right?
That's what happens when you try and move a mountain. You get your head caved in.
Well, I gotta pee really, really bad, so I'd really appreciate it if you could end the show. My penis is burning, and it's not an STD.
Okay. Well, that's the show. Thank you guys so much for listening. You can email us at thisshow@justcooledenough.com, or just check out the website at justcooledenough.com. You can follow me at Twitter at twitter.com/Duncor, DUNCOR. Let me turn on my lower third, since I didn't have it on the entirety of this podcast.
I was wondering why you looked so good and naked.
Yes, right there.
There it is.
Yeah.
You could follow me on Twitter at SpeedyF40, and it's spelled SPEEDYF40. And I am a 40-year-old female, according to Twitter, because of that.
Yeah, awesome.
Somebody use that? ASL?
Yeah. 14 female California, or Cali. That's the popular. So, anyways, until next week, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Fuck off, and Joe's penis is burning.
Oh, God, it's burning. Please stop. Oh, I'm the one that can stop it.
Yeah, you're the one in control of the podcast.
Press the button. What button? Is this one? Leave call? No. Stop.